In my opinion, the best martini is a Gibson. Today, we won't talk about ratios of gin and vermouth, or the muddy history of this cocktail. Today, I'll show you how I pickle my onions. Hi friends of cocktails! We already did a Gibson episode, so you can check that out after this episode if you want to know more about this cocktail. I'll still show you my preferred recipe at the end. But what makes the Gibson stand apart from the classic martini is the onion. The store-bought pickled pearl onions, sometimes called cocktail onions, may work just fine, but we're trying to build the best version of the Gibson. This is cocktail engineering after all, so we'll make our own. Onions have a ton of health benefits, are low in calories, yet high in nutrients, including vitamin C, B vitamins, and potassium. But let's be honest, you don't put them in a cocktail because of that. Onions provide a savory flavor to dishes, and of course cocktails. A homemade pickled onion gives the Gibson even more layers of flavor and texture. This is how I make them. The first thing you'll need are clean and sterilized jars and lids for pickling. I'm using these small ones that will hold just a couple of the onions, so that the whole jar can be used with 1 or 2 cocktails. After cleaning them thoroughly, I place them in the oven at 120 degrees Celsius or 250 Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes. I've also boiled the lids and then left them to dry. In the meantime, let's get our onions ready. I'm using pickling onions, which are like baby brown onions. As I peel them, I'll remove the top and bottom parts, cutting the root, which is the part that contains the highest concentration of sulfuric compounds, which can make you cry. This is a defense mechanism designed to protect the onions from hungry animals as they grow. Cutting an onion breaks open the cells, creating a chemical reaction which creates 𝗙𝗶𝗺𝗪 as oxide. This quickly evaporates, and when it reaches the water layer that covers and protects your eyeballs, it forms sulfuric acid. As you can imagine, that's not really great for the eyes. So the T response is there to wash away the irritant. There's a lot of ideas online on how to prevent crying when cutting onions. Since it's the gas that causes the problems, I recommend cutting the onions next to a kitchen hood, set to full speed to suck the onion tear gas away from your eyes. Or wear ski goggles. This one works the best. I think I'll be able to fit around 5 to 6 of these little onions into each of the jars, so I think this should be enough. Once you've got enough onions ready, it's time to give them some extra flavor. For that, I'll saute them in a pan with a teaspoon of olive oil over high heat. Make sure to move them around, and once they get a little color on them, that's enough. This step isn't necessary, but it will give the onions a little extra sweetness. Once they are done, remove the onions from the heat and use paper napkins to wipe off any excess oil. Then stuff as many of these little onions into your jars as you can. If there's too much space between them, they'll start to float in the brine, and we don't want that. Next, add the spices. Into each of the jars, I'll add 4 black peppercorns, 4 coriander seeds, and 4 fennel seeds. And here's the secret ingredient. Into each of the jars, add a teaspoon of cognac. It really pairs nicely with the onions. To make the brine, I'll mix equal amounts of water and sweet white wine vinegar with concentrated grape must, 100 ml or 3 1/3 of an ounce of each. This vinegar is a bit sweeter than your typical white wine vinegar, so I'll add less of the honey syrup than I usually would. I'm adding 7.5 ml or 1/4 of an ounce. Honey will give our onions and the brine a touch of earthy sweetness. Lastly, to enhance all of the flavors, a pinch of salt. bring this to a boil and get ready to pour it into the jars while it's still hot. Remember, all of this is just a guide, so if your grandma or somebody else has a different approach to pickling and you swear by it, do it that way. Make sure the brine completely covers all the onions, and if you have a floater, try to wedge it back down with the other onions. Then close the lids tightly. While the hot brine should be enough to ensure a tight seal, I'll still place the pickled onions in the oven at 120°C or 250°F for 20 minutes. Any air left in the jars will contract, creating a vacuum. Leave the jars to cool off completely in the oven before placing them in the fridge. This, together with the acidic environment in the jars, will keep them shelf stable for a really long time. As long as the lids pop when you open them, the contents of the jar should be fine. As usual with pickled foods, they're best after at least a few weeks, but you're fine to sample a jar after a few days. Here's a sample I made a week ago, so let's give one a taste and compare it to the store-bought ones. I think it's missing something. Tasting them on its own just wouldn't give you a real-life experience. So let's make 2 sample-sized cocktails. Just like in the Gibson episode, I'll use Hendrick's Orbium Gin, because it really pairs nice with a savory onion. And somewhat controversially, I add a dash of lemon bitters. Stir well over ice, serve in a chilled glass or 2, and add the onion. I'm happy to do these tests and give you the results, so let me know in the comments what you would like to see me compare. It's a tough job, but somebody's gotta do it. Let's take a sip and then test one onion versus the other. The onion adds a tiny bit of sourness from the brine it was in. The small pearl onion still has a lot of flavor. It's a nice addition to the cocktail, but it's gone really fast. Now let's try the homemade. This onion is still a week or 2 from developing its full flavor from the brine, but we'll get the general idea of what we made. And it's a world of difference. The texture and flavor are much richer, and the whole cocktail becomes a savory experience. With the extra care going into a homemade ingredient for a simple cocktail like the Gibson, you can really take the drink to another level. And since we made a couple of onions per jar, they're a great snack as you enjoy the cocktail. While I go and pretend I'm in the Queen's Gambit, you can take a look at the original Gibson episode. Or more of cocktail engineering. Cheers!